Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Weekly Wins. And my name is Troy Treleaven. I'm going to be your host today for this idea about tracking and thinking about what our wins are. And so today we're excited to present to you a concept that we think is very transformative. And we want to outline to you how it's transformative, why it's transformative, and how it could really help you accelerate your success. Here in Thrive, we really believe it's important to constantly be successful. And some people say, well, is it possible to be successful if I haven't succeeded at something yet? And today we want to explore that success starts with our mindset and is accelerated by that mindset. So today we're going to outline the concept of weekly wins. And then once a week, we want to come back together and share together what are our wins. Today, I want to just present to you this general concept. So it starts with the question, what is a win? Well, one obvious way to think about a win is an achievement, something that happened that you did, you went after, that was a success. That's one definition of a win. And those are great when they come along. It's great to be at the end of the day, be able to track and very clearly measurable. That was a win. I moved this project forward. I had a good relationship situation here. I accomplished something I wanted to accomplish. We also want to define a win as when we learn something. Now, the good thing about that definition, either achieve something or I learned something, can really turn any situation into a win and a positive outcome. So, what is a win? It's a clear achievement that would be pretty obvious, or it's where we learn something. Now, thinking about a win could be a way to think about gratitude. I know for many years, I would every New Year's, I would sit down and make my list of goals for the upcoming year. Now, I like to think beyond New Year's resolutions, but I would always start the process by writing down at least 20 things that I was grateful for, and they were big and small in business and personal life, and I'd have a really good list, and it would get me feeling really good. I'd have this deep sense of gratitude. And then when it came to setting my goals, and in this case, I used to write out 100 goals for the year. It'd take me a little bit. Sometimes I do it over 2 days, but I would write big and small goals. Big goal would maybe be I remember one time I wanted to buy a pickup truck. That was my goal. But I had a lot of smaller goals too. One was uh, watch a sunrise, get up early and watch a sunrise. Another was have a dinner with my loved one at a simple restaurant, things like that. And I would build out 100 goals. And I found that starting with gratitude always made the process go more smoothly. I felt I had a bigger mindset. When it comes to wins, we want to look at wins daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. You can set wins for any dynamic in your life or your business. So, why track them? Why write down our wins? Well, quite often, if we don't make note of what's going well already in our lives, our thoughts will naturally gravitate to those things that we are our problems or our challenges, the few good things that are really obvious good things happen, but we're really neglecting this massive amount of good that happens every day, things that we just take for granted. And I remember one time driving by a church, and there was a sign out front, and it had some words on it. It said, "Get rich quick. Count your blessings." I thought, isn't that so great? If we take the time to count our blessings, it focuses on what's going well. So, why track them? Our recommendation is track your wins daily. At the end of the day, start by writing down, what were my 3 wins for the day? What was something I clearly accomplished? Or what was something I learned that I'll be able to use in the future and maybe not make this mistake again? That's one recommendation. Then at the end of every week, track your weekly wins. Now, our suggestion also is look ahead to the next week or next day, if you're doing this daily, what could be my wins for tomorrow? And this is a way of setting some goals, but you're doing it based on some wins you've already had. Now, in a moment, we're going to talk about why doing this specific process can be transformative to what success means in your life. Here at Thrive, we want to transform what success means. So if we traditionally see success as job promotion, job progress, increase in pay, um, starting a new business, all very good things. But we also believe that happiness or success should be a daily experience. Here's one way to think about it. We call it the analogy of the field. And imagine this, you're on a typical farmer's field, you look out into the distance and you can see maybe a fence in the back, or you see just as far as your eye can see. And you think of that as the future that you're moving towards. So we walk through the field, we get partway through the field, we get all the way to the edge of the field. Maybe there's a fence there. And when we get to the fence and we still look ahead, we go, there's so much more horizon out, right? I could just keep walking and hit another horizon, right? Well, what wind's doing and tracking winds is when we turn around, we look back, and we look at where we've come. And we believe that if you and I want to feel truly successful and happy, it's important that we take a moment, turn around fairly frequently, and look at where have we come from where we've been. This simple process of just looking back gives us a genuine sense of accomplishment that we would normally just forget about. We just go through a whole lot of stuff, some of it not very pleasant, some of it pleasant, but we wouldn't be tracking it. We really think it's important to look back, look at where we've come from, and then from that insight, now look into the future. Now, this can also be considered in light of our life. As we look back from our life up from whatever time frame till now, and you might start from your birth till now, or maybe your adulthood till now, or maybe your new job till now, or maybe the last year till now, whatever it is, tracking our wins from that perspective, what was an achievement and what did we learn, we can start redefining our past, believe it or not. Now, people say you can't change the past. Well, our view on it is the past. Yes, there were specific things that happened, events and circumstances. Those are neutral and those can't be changed. But one thing we've seen about psychology and human behavior is that when we look back at our past, we look at it from where we are today. And if we look back at our past, and let's just say there's some regrets, or maybe we look at it and we go, oh, I didn't accomplish these things that when I was a teenager, I thought when I looked brightly into the future, oh, I'm going to accomplish all these things. We believe that if you look back at the past and see it as a series of wins, which can be some accomplishments for sure, and some learnings, it starts transforming today. And you may look back now and you may look back and say, I had a relationship or many relationships that went bad, or I had a job and it didn't go well. I lost that job, or I had some goals to get myself healthy and that those never happened, or I had a lot of pain through different parts of my life. If we look back at it and we feel bad about those things, we're probably not going to energize ourselves for the future. But if we look back and see it as, what was the win, what was the learning, what is now possible, what did that perhaps perceived negative experience teach me? And I say perceived negative experience because really we could look at any experience and we can see it as positive or negative or neutral, or some range of that, really positive or really negative. But it really is just our perception at the time. It's really not reality. Reality is determined by our opinion of it. So when we look at our past, we look at What did I accomplish? What did I learn? How did that learning affect what I see today and how uh, what's happening for me today? We can look back and actually feel really, really good that all of those events that we didn't predict, of course, have brought us here and really have made us the person we are today. And even if we didn't match those ideals we had as a young person, now we're at a place where we can say, you know what? I didn't need those ideals. The path my life turned out to be is actually what it was. That reality and viewing it as a learning helps us feel quite good about where we are today. With that good feeling, we can now move on to a more bright, unique future. Let's talk a little bit further about this idea and that we said about ideal. So let's go back to the analogy of the field for just a moment. When I look at the future, I may say, okay, a month from now, I want to have this outcome. Maybe in my business, it's maybe there's a financial target that I've got, or I want to hire a specific person in my company. I'm speaking for myself here, or maybe that I want to with my kids, I want to help them have a certain success they're looking for. Maybe my son getting a certain mark on a paper or something. I don't know. As I look into the future, I have an ideal, something I'm striving towards. If I start moving towards that ideal, I'm taking actions every day and I'm reflecting back on what was the win for today? How does it match my ideal? I start characterizing the growth now as more realistic in a sense, but second, I get energized and I get thinking about what else could I do now? What else do I want? Sometimes those ideals that I set when I was a teenager, I know one ideal I had is I wanted to be a lawyer. That was an ideal I had. And as I moved towards it, I realized, and I got talking to some lawyers and other people, and I said, you know, for me, that's no longer my goal. I didn't want that kind of life, and I moved in another direction. When I think back, I'm so glad I did because I got into a profession that I truly love, and I love what I do every day still, even though I've done it for many years. When we track our wins, we start moving ourselves towards the future that we uniquely desire. And the future now isn't about those ideals that everybody else says are important. Like my family thought it would be cool if I was a lawyer, or I thought, oh, there would be some big perks if I was a lawyer. When I look back, I go, you know what? I've got a unique path that was important for me. So ultimately, what does it do when we track our wins? Is that allows us to start building real momentum, real good feelings. When we have good feelings, we look differently at the future. We have more confidence. We have more perspective. We see that there's things that we could really accomplish that I didn't even know I wanted to accomplish before. And so here's the invitation and how we're going to end our today's meeting is start by today. At the end of the day, what were some wins that I had? What three wins as a minimum? What were three things I learned or I actually accomplished today? Then, after you've written those down, look at what would I like to accomplish tomorrow? Write those down. End a day the next day. What were my wins? What do I want to accomplish tomorrow? Together in Thrive, we're going to do this weekly. We're going to get together and share our collective wins. And depending on how many people are here, we'll figure out a way to share them together. And as we do, we are going to start energizing ourselves like we've never been energized before. It's going to be a great feeling of success every day, not just when we hit some big milestone that everybody says is important. We're going to have milestones every day that we're going to reach. What that's going to lead to is we're going to see our future very differently. We're going to see some things we want in the future that we may not even have dreamed about a couple of years ago, a couple of days ago, even. And that is going to help us become genuinely successful in the true sense of the word and doing what's based on our best characteristics, our strengths, what we do best. So, in conclusion, let us start tracking the wins. Let's look at our future. Sorry, let's look at our past from if you had any negative feelings about the past, tell yourself it was some learnings. What did you learn that got you to where you are today? You'll start feeling better right away. Anytime you had something you regret in the past, think about what I learned from it. Also, those natural achievements, build those together. And as we start working together on sharing our wins, we're going to feel great about our future. We're going to create a whole new future that didn't even seem possible. And we're going to really thrive because we're going to be working together on things that are truly meaningful, truly resonate with us, and really make our lives great. So, on that note, folks, let's meet weekly with our wins. And I can promise you, we're going to have a great life together and really design it the way we want it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.